y'all may want to put on a football helmet and probably some full body padding because you're about to feel like you've gone 9 rounds with Mike Tyson after this one. That's right. We are talking about getting started on holier and healthier nutrition today. Just like the last video I made about fitness, go check that out if you haven't already. I am going to share the do's and don'ts of getting started with nutrition. This time, however, instead of giving you a bunch of don'ts and then a bunch of do's, I'm going to give you a don't paired with a do instead at the same time. Are you ready? This is going to shake things up. All right. Number 1, don't start your journey by obsessing over calories and micros and macros and ultimately starving yourself. Instead, start by just recording what you eat and drink for like the first week or two. And when I say what you eat and drink, I mean everything. Everything that goes in your mouth, you need to write down. And with writing that down, write down what your environment is like. So if you're in a restaurant or if you're at home, how you feel, like your emotions. Am I happy? Am I stressed? Am I sad? And then you can start to ask yourself deeper questions like, why did I eat or drink that thing? Did I like the taste? Did I like the texture? Did I not like the taste? Did I not like the texture? What about it did I like or not like? Does that make sense? Ask yourself deeper questions because sometimes, this is an example, sometimes we feel overwhelmed and stressed out, and the first thing we want to do is go grab our favorite soda out of the refrigerator and our favorite bag of chips and just munch all night long, right? Or a tub of ice cream, or some people like to go get milkshakes after work because they're just like, oh, I'm so done. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be painful, but that is called eating your emotions. Okay? Trying to eat your stress away. Now, I want to clarify with you that calories are not a bad thing to track necessarily. However, it may just not be necessary at the start until you really kind of just know the why behind your eating and your drinking. I've seen too many people, especially my mom's generation, who restrict calories so much because they think calories is the end all be all of nutrition, right? That they're basically eating nothing all day and then they feel low energy, they're irritable, and they don't see any positive changes happening. Restricting calories is not the answer to losing weight or getting healthy. In fact, restricting calories too much actually slows down your metabolism. Your metabolism works slower because it's trying to preserve your body's fuel source for as long as possible. That fuel source is glucose. Glucose comes from starchy, slow digesting carbs like potatoes, rice, pasta, and most veggies. And fast digesting carbs give you immediate energy, which comes from fruits. The slow digesting carbs get stored as body fat until they are needed. So when you restrict your calories, your body thinks it's in a famine. So it slows down the use of that body fat so it can preserve its energy and make it last longer. So basically, your body's doing what it's supposed to do when it is shorted on food. And then when you eat enough of the right foods, your metabolism speeds up and uses your body fat more quickly. Of course, that is paired with exercise. And on the other side of that, if you are continuously eating excessive amounts of slow digesting carbs, your body can't burn and use it fast enough with or without exercising. And then it stores as body fat. So basically, when you are consuming more energy or calories, carbs, than you are using, your body fat increases. If you are consuming the same amount of energy as you are using on a daily basis, you will see no change. And if you are consuming less energy than you usually use on a daily basis, then your body fat is going to go down. Now, that use of energy comes from movement and exercise. So if you are stationary, disregard everything I just said. All right, go get up and get moving. All right, watch my last video if that helps you. Keep in mind that if you start exercising and not eating enough of the right foods, carbs, fats, and most importantly, protein, your body will start to use its muscle mass as energy. And essentially, instead of just losing body fat, you will also be losing your muscle mass, which, if you saw my last video, muscle mass is vital for fighting against chronic diseases like diabetes, cancers, heart disease, etc., etc. And in case you haven't noticed by now, nutrition is the most impactful part of being healthy. Okay? Keep that in mind as we continue on in this video. Also keep in mind that good nutrition without exercise only goes so far and vice versa. Okay? All right, number 2, don't stay in the everything within reason mindset. Do instead focus on the quality of the foods that you are eating. If you are eating a majority of your food from the center aisles of the grocery store where they have a laundry list of ingredients that you can't even pronounce, you're not going to get any healthier. It doesn't matter how much you portion it out. You may lose some weight, that's for sure, but you will be increasing your risk of chronic diseases and other health issues in the future. Sorry, bumping into the mic. So when you go to the grocery store, stick to the outside aisles of the store where there's fruits and veggies and dairy and meat. The best bet is going to be organic produce, pasture-raised poultry, that's eggs and chicken, and 100% grass-fed beef and dairy. That even applies to lamb and goat if that's your cup of tea. And if possible, get raw dairy, like milk, butter, cheeses, yogurts. That's right, I said cheeses. You can still eat cheese as long as you get good quality cheese, right? The next thing would be to cut out seed oils. Anything that is not beef tallow, coconut oil, or extra virgin olive oil that is sold in a dark glass container is a no-go, okay? So those are your 3 options. Canola, vegetable, corn, sunflower, safflower oils, on the other hand, they gotta go, okay? They gotta get out of here. Make sure you read the ingredient list on anything that has one, because those seed oils hide in everything. And I mean everything, except your produce and your meats and things that shouldn't have stuff into that anyway. Moving on. At the end of the day, if you eat whole, minimally processed foods, your body will be better fueled, more satiated, and satisfied. And those cravings for junk food and McDonald's and Chick-fil-A will eventually fade away. You're welcome. I mean, no joke. The other day, my husband and I ordered out for like the first time in a month, and we had been cooking whole nutritious foods for a month. And usually it's like exciting when you eat out, and we used to eat out way too much. And this time, after we've kind of changed our taste buds and changed our eating desires and habits, it was disappointing. It was like, wow, this is okay. I feel like we make better food at home. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, we even had like French fries cooked in beef tallow, and I was like, I just don't want these as much as I used to. Which tells me eventually your taste buds change based on what you feed them. So Stick it out, and I'll come back to that in a second. And guess what? If you eat nutritious foods every day, learn to cook at home, you will save so much money, and you won't even have to count your calories because you can buy and eat a lot of whole foods. And I'm not talking about the store Whole Foods. Yes, you can get Whole Foods at Whole Foods. It's kind of why it's called Whole Foods. But if you eat whole nutritious foods, you can eat a lot of it and have the same amount of calories for one muffin or a donut and a cup of Starbucks coffee. Or a Frappuccino with steamed milk and whipped cream or whatever you guys are into. I don't go to Starbucks. I don't like coffee. Come at me. At the end of the day, donuts, muffins, Starbucks coffee leaves you malnourished, still hungry, and quite frankly, just addicted to sugar. That's all. So stick with the food God provided us. All the stuff from the earth, from his creation, and not what man has created in a lab, or should I say contaminated in a lab with a bunch of questionable chemicals. All right, number 3, no more cheat days. I don't really have a do instead for this one other than stay consistent in eating whole nutritious foods in one day. You won't even care about a cheat day. Let me bring some faith talk into this real quick. Overeating is a sin. I am going to say that again. Overeating is a sin. But why? Well, most of the time, well, really all of the time, when we overeat, it is because we are seeking some kind of comfort and satisfaction outside of the one who gives us comfort and satisfaction, giving into the lusts of the flesh and the lusts of the eyes, just like Eve in the Garden of Eden. So let's read together. So in Genesis 3, verses 1 through 6, we're talking about the temptation and the fall of man. So verse number 1, now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, has God indeed said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, you shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. Then the serpent said to the woman, you will not surely die. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Side note, I don't think that sounds very good. I don't want to know evil. I want to know good. I don't want to know evil. But we know evil because of this. Anyway, verse 6, probably the most important verse of this whole thing. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. And I'm not talking Gen Z slang ate, okay? I'm talking took a bite of that fruit that they were not supposed to. And we do not know if it was an apple, so don't go there. Don't go there. All right. Verse 6 says, let me just break it down real quick. She saw that it was good for food, right? She saw the fruit, saw that it was good for food, which is the lust of the flesh. It was pleasant to the eyes, the lust of the eyes, and desirable to make one wise, the pride of life. Have you seen a Little Caesars commercial or any food commercial at that? They make it look so appetizing and tell you how good it is so that you want to eat it. And how when you eat it, it will make you feel good, make you happy. Like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups commercials. Ugh. Or Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry, so eat a Snickers. Does that not sound like the serpent in the garden, the devil? Hello? when we see commercials like this, what is it that we do? We conform to the world, right? We conform to the world. We go and we get our satisfaction that doesn't last very long. You have to keep eating the same thing over and over and over again until you feel satisfied, and then, or so you can stay satisfied. And it just ends up making you sick in the long run, right? So, where are we supposed to find satisfaction and comfort? Well, let me tell you. Why did the sun just randomly go down? Sorry about that. The lighting's a little bit weird right now. It'll come back and maybe. There we go. Okay. Let's jump to. Somehow we ended up in Genesis 4. John chapter 4, verse 14. So jump into the New Testament. I'm actually starting in verse 13. So John chapter 4, verse 13 and 14, it says, Jesus answered and said to her, whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. And let me pause for a second. He's talking to the woman at the well, and he's talking about the water in the well. So in verse 14, he says, but whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life. So I would say we can find satisfaction and comfort in Jesus. But if you're not convinced, let's jump to Mr. King David from the line of King Jesus, the one whose line brought us King Jesus. We're going to jump to Psalms 63. We could also do 23, but Psalms 63. And this is when David is in the wilderness of Judah, most likely hiding from Saul, who is chasing him down and trying to kill him because Saul lost his anointing and God gave it to David instead, and he's jealous. He's mad. He's upset. All right. Anyway, verse 1 of Psalms 63. O God, you are my God. Early will I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh longs for you in a dry and thirsty land where there is no water. So I have looked for you in the sanctuary to see your power and your glory, because your loving kindness is better than life. My lips shall praise you. Thus I will bless you. While I live, I will lift up my hands in your name. My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness. And my mouth shall praise you with joyful lips. When I remember you on my bed, I meditate on you in the night watches. Because you have been my help, therefore, in the shadow of your wings I will rejoice. My soul follows close behind you. Your right hand upholds me. But those who seek my life to destroy it shall go into the lower parts of the earth. They shall fall by the sword. They shall be a portion for jackals. But the king shall rejoice in God. Everyone who swears by him shall glory. But the mouth of those who speak lies will be stopped, or shall be stopped. Does that not hit you a little bit? Clearly, in the midst of David's suffering, discomfort, he is seeking his satisfaction in the Lord. He knows that is the sole place that he can find satisfaction that lasts for an eternity, instead of the food and the water that he was probably desperate for at the time, or anybody would be desperate for in his situation. All right. I got one more verse for you, because this one hit me. Okay, it hit me like a ton of bricks, and all I did was just like glance across it, and at first glance I was just like, oh, that's it right there. So we're going to go to Proverbs 27 verse 7. A satisfied soul loathes the honeycomb, but to a hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. Now, does that not sound a little bit familiar to you? Does that not sound like us? Like when we don't seek satisfaction and comfort in Jesus, where do we go? We go to bitter things. We don't care how bitter and dangerous they are for us. We go to food. We go to social media, and we'll countless hours of scrolling and just mindlessly eating whatever, right? Even if it's terrible for us, even if it poisons the bodies that God gave us to take care of, that he made in his image. Think about that. All that to say, cheat days are not worth it. They only fuel your flesh's desire to eat and eat and eat whatever it wants all day long. And I am saying this from a perspective of someone who used to try the whole cheat day thing and found out very quickly that it was a bad idea. I never was able to get past my plateaus in my fitness world or in my fitness journey, my health journey. And not to mention, as a coach, I hear from clients all the time saying,
I was doing so good all week, and then this weekend I gave myself a cheat day, and well, it became cheat days, essentially, and I don't know how to stop.
Sound familiar to you? Does that happen to you? Yeah, so cheat days aren't even worth it at this point. All right, number 4. Don't believe every package that says protein on it, okay? Instead, flip it over and read the nutrition facts on the back. I mean, I can't even count how many protein bars and snacks there are out there that are actually a carb bar, a fat bar, or really just straight up a candy bar. A glorified candy bar. For instance, I was waiting in the self-checkout line at Whole Foods, and one day I saw this little guy right here. Protein bites my booty. Okay, let's take a look at these nutrition facts. Starting with fats, 7 grams. Okay, probably not from good fat sources, but whatever. Carbohydrates, 23 grams. Yikes, that's a lot. Sugars, 19 grams of sugar. And you can bet most of those are probably added. Now, let's look at the protein. 8 grams. A measly 8 grams of protein in this protein snack. This means this little bag of boogers should really be called carb bites or sugar bites or candy bites, honestly. There is barely more protein than there is fats. And there is darn near not as much protein as there are carbs and sugar. So don't fall for it. Read the nutrition label. All right, let's check out these guys right here. Beef sticks. I love these. Fats, 3 grams. Carbs, 0 grams. Sugars, 0 grams. And guess what? Protein, 4 grams. Yes, barely a protein, but a protein nonetheless. And it also gives us healthy fats, so why not? Okay, just one more. Yogurt. Now, you really got to be careful with yogurt because they can say protein on the front, and then if you turn it over, it looks like there's a whole bunch of added sugars and nonsense that go in there. So really, your best bet is to stick with plain Greek yogurt. And this one, in particular, has 6 grams of fat because I chose to have fat in my yogurt. Thank you. 7 grams of carbs. Not bad. 5 grams of sugar, and they're not added sugars. They're just natural that come with the milk, natural sugars that come out of the milk that is used. And then 16 grams of protein. Heck yeah. Hello. That's a good protein source right there. All right. You made your point. Read the nutrition labels. Okay. Yeah. All right. Number 5. Don't go on a low or non-fat diet. Instead, change the quality of the fats that you are eating. All right. Margarine, gotta go. Can't believe it's not butter. Can't believe it's not in your trash already. Okay. Real 100% grass-fed butter has more nutritional value than margarine or fake butter. And that has been proven, it has been proven to improve your health and not damage your health like they try to tell us over and over and over again. Same thing they do to the eggs and the cholesterol that comes from pretty much anything that's natural and clean and good for you. Truth is, fake butters and egg white only and non-fat yogurts are not going to help you, but hurt you in the long run if they haven't already. So switch those things for the real thing. Get the real thing, okay? We need healthy fats, specifically the natural cholesterol they provide, because that helps us produce hormones at a healthy rate, right? And we also get healthy fats from red meat. Yes, the studies they have done to supposedly prove that red meat is so bad for you looks something like this. Do you have some kind of heart issues? Yes. Do you eat red meat regularly? Yes. Okay, that must mean that red meat causes heart disease. Oh, I see here you're a smoker and you eat margarine and junk food and french fries drenched in seed oils. We don't really care about that. Just that you eat red meat and have heart disease. Now go eat fake stuff that was made in a factory and pumped full of chemicals that we don't even know how to pronounce. Next! Sounds pretty thorough, doesn't it? Absolutely not. All right, listen, I tried the no red meat thing and the no dairy thing because of my endometriosis, and that's what they tell you. Oh, it's going to help decrease inflammation. Listen, I got worse. Things got way worse for me. And then when I introduced them back into my diet at a higher rate than I had even before I stopped, I felt way better. Now, not 100%, but the pain definitely decreased in a noticeable amount, and I felt better overall. Like, who doesn't? I mean, come on. It's also about the quality of the meat you get. You can get the non-organic grass-fed, which is pumped full of God knows what, because as a farmer's daughter, Dad, forgive me, I see what they feed the cows, okay? My dad doesn't have cows, but we used to, and also I just know people who my dad works with who have cows. Okay, here's the process. The farmers, my dad, who grow corn and soybeans and all that, they have fields, right? Fields with corn, fields with soybeans, all right? And they alternate them each year. And basically, after harvest, during the winter months, when there's really not much to do for a corn and soybean farmer, what they do to fertilize naturally, which is a great idea. I love this part. I'm happy for it. However, this means that the chemicals that they put the cows in these fields where the corn was initially, right, to fertilize the ground after harvest, and to eat up whatever was left on the ground. Basically, they're grain finished. So grass-fed, grain finished versus 100% grass-fed, grass finished. And they'll eat the grain off the ground. Well, the corn that they're eating off the ground was sprayed with so many harmful chemicals that are endocrine disruptors and genetically modified too. And then these cows are eating that gets into their bodies. Their body it's absorbed into the meat that we eat. And then we eat that and then we get pumped full of those things. So, yeah. Be careful. If you can, find organic, grass-fed, grass-finished meat, or 100% grass-fed is what they typically call it, wherever you go grocery shopping, because that is going to help you significantly. Know what your animals that you are eating, okay? And here's another example. I am actually taking supplements from a company called Heart and Soil right now. Basically, cow organs in a capsule, right? And this is grass fed cows, all right? And your girl's last period, sorry to get all personal, was significantly less painful. I've mentioned in a previous video that I started to take these supplements. I started taking them 1 week prior to my last period. And when I tell you, I didn't even have to take a single pain medication the entire period. I was excited because the biggest goal that I have in my life is to never have to take a painkiller ever again. Especially because I started researching the ingredients on these things that I've been taking, and I'm like, holy crap, no wonder I'm always feeling like trash. There's so much that I wish I could have done differently when I was younger. So here we are. All right. Anyway, I am not sponsored by Heart and Soil, by the way, but if they want to talk to me, I am here for it. Okay. All right. Long story short, red meat, raw dairy, and pasture raised poultry are the way to go for optimal nutrition and a healthier life. And guess what? If you get high quality grass fed cheese, possibly even raw cheese, you can still eat cheese. You don't have to cut that out of your diet. You can eat it. And I will tell you why in a little bit, but hold on to that thought. Number 6, don't believe that carbs are bad. Well, not all carbs are bad. Instead, learn what carbs are good and bad, which ones are slow digesting for long-term future energy, and which ones are fast digesting for immediate and short-term energy, same thing, right? And with that, when to eat which, aka carb timing. Quick lesson. Good carbs are fruits, veggies, and depending on the person, quinoa, potatoes, rice, etc. Bad carbs are potato chips, cookies, french fries when cooked in seed oils and have more than 3 ingredients. That should be potato, salt, beef tallow. And then you're going to hate me. Bread. I love bread. I miss bread. But bread, unless it is homemade with only I think 3 or 4 ingredients, it's fine. When it's not homemade with only 3 and 4 ingredients and you buy it in the store and you can't pronounce the ingredients on it and there's a bunch of added sugars in there, don't get it. Don't do it. No. Hard pass on that. Bread, no go. And it's not even that good anyway. It's not that good. It's just not. Anyway, also pretty much sugary foods, anything that's ultra processed or has been through many processes before it was packaged and sent to the store. Anyway, all right, slow digesting carbs. What are those? They're starchy carbs or veggies, rice, quinoa, potatoes, sweet potatoes, blah, 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 blah. These carbs take longer to digest and the energy from these usually lasts longer. It also kicks in later because it takes longer to digest. The best time to eat these kinds of carbs is within a 2-hour window after your workout so that they get absorbed for muscle recovery and building instead of just getting stored as fat. And that's something. You could also eat these the day before you do a 5K or a marathon or a triathlon, whatever your cup of tea is. That's when you would do it because then it'll help you maintain your energy throughout the event. All right. Fast digesting carbs, on the other hand, these are your fruits. All right. These digest quickly and give you energy quickly. Best to eat these before your workout. You can create a fruit smoothie with some protein powder, or you can just grab a banana and eat it on your way to the gym. Regardless, these are the type of carbs that give you that immediate energy, quick extra boost to get through your workout and keep you going. All right. And they taste good. It's like God's candy. God's candy's the best candy. All right. So, all that to say, carbs are not all bad. They just need to be used wisely. All right. Fun fact, if you have PCOS, there have been studies showing, and there are plenty of doctors that I have watched them go on YouTube videos and share this information, that going on a keto or a low carb diet diet, because it's temporary, for I think 3 to 6 months can cure your PCOS. Wild. It resets your body's glucose levels so your body can absorb glucose, which comes from the carbs, way better. Okay? So unless you need to go low carb, don't. Okay? You better have good reason. All right, holy number 7. Don't sleep on protein. Instead, do prioritize protein. Okay? Quick lesson on what a good source of protein is: red meat, white meat, like beef, chicken, turkey, lamb, meat. Okay? Eggs, mostly a fat source, but have 6 grams of protein per egg, so not bad at all. Dairy, again, most are higher in healthy fats. However, they all include a pretty decent amount of protein. Okay, so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, just rewind back to that Greek yogurt example I gave a little bit ago. 16 grams of protein. Heck yeah. Okay. All right, now that we got that out of the way, what are the benefits of protein? Why does protein matter? Protein's hard to eat. It's hard to get a lot of. Yes, I know. It's a daily struggle for me too. But it's totally worth it because it helps your body build muscle mass, of course, when paired with strength training, regulates your hunger hormones. So the more protein you eat, the fuller you feel, faster, and for longer. Ain't that something? All those cravings, pew, okay, they're gone. Poof. Goodbye. Also helps modulate cortisol levels. Okay? That's your stress hormone if you didn't know. So, might want to give that a shot. Protein is also the building block for hormones. What? Okay. So I won't be so moody if I get enough protein. Sounds like a good idea. Also balances your blood sugar. So PCOS ladies and my diabetic, pre-diabetic folks out there, pay attention. Supports sleep and melatonin. And I know I need that in my life. Strengthens hair, skin, and nails. And who doesn't want luscious hair and beautiful natural nails and nice skin? And it promotes healthy aging. But how do I know I'm getting enough protein? Well, a few tricks. The advanced way is to weigh out 4 to 6 ounces of your meat in its raw form every time you make a meal, right? Or, easier way, make sure you have your hand size portion of protein on every plate. That is a big hand, y'all. I'm sorry. Your hand represents your body better, so it's going to be an ideal amount of protein for your body. Everybody's different. Anyway, either option that you choose, just make sure that you eat your protein first. For instance, say I have a steak, green beans, and baked sweet potato on my plate. I'm going to eat the steak and green beans first. And then, if I have room, I will eat the sweet potatoes, because I'm going to get fuller faster. And then by the time I get to the carbs, I'm going to be like, meh, this is okay. I'm full. Make sense? I know this is not an extensive list, but it should be enough to get you started. At the end of the day, remember that you aren't going to get all of this right on the first week, the second week, maybe not even in the first year. But take one day at a time, build one habit at a time, and when you fail, pick yourself back up and do better the next day. Okay? Me and my husband are still working on this. There's days when we do great, there's days when we completely bomb and go back to our old ways for a moment. And we've been doing this since 2022. So no pressure. Be patient and persevere. Okay? And for my Christians out there, don't think that God doesn't care about what you put in your body or that you struggle with what you put in your body. He does. He cares. So go to Him in prayer, confess your shortcomings with food, and ask Him to renew your mind and transform your heart and to give you healthy desires for food, the way that He desires you to eat. Okay? All right. And one more thing. I forgot to mention this. This is a huge one, okay? I might have mentioned it earlier, but just in case, I want to hit this point really hard, and this is for anybody and everybody trying to get healthy, okay? Stop calling it a diet. Eating healthy is not a diet. Diets are short-term things that you do. Like if you're a bodybuilder and you have a competition coming up and you go on this specific diet for the time period it takes to get you to where you need to be for your competition. And then after that, you go back to normal. Instead, call it nutrition. Healthier nutrition. Okay? This is my nutrition plan, not my diet. Okay? Nutrition, long-term lifestyle. Diet, short-term for temporary needs. Okay? Remember that. All right. Anyway, stay tuned for future content that will help you even more with the nutrition side of things, including how to meal prep, how to grocery shop, and using tools like the Bobby Approved app in the grocery store, as well as protein hacks and so much more. And if you enjoyed this video and got anything valuable out of it, please like, subscribe, leave a lovely comment, and ring that bell notification to stay up to date on all things faith, fitness, and food. See you next time. Grace and peace, y'all.